Is it bad that I watched all of You again? So the Netflix special You, main actor Penn Bagley. He showed his ass too. He was scooping. After a long, I think like 7 years, You finally comes to an end. And when I tell you it was beautiful, it was beautiful. And honestly, for all the internet saying that they do not like the ending, I want to say that's what we needed. That's honestly what we needed. And the fact that they were going this angle with You shows me that they were trying what they were you could see what they were trying, and at least it left the bones to lead you where it went. So that's why I'm for it. I'm definitely for it. But before I even talk about the breakdown of You the show, I want to talk about the fact that this run that You was on might be one of the better TV shows I've seen, or at least one of the better dramas I've seen in a long time, especially from a Netflix special, or at least from a Netflix ran show, because of Netflix tends to have a problem when it comes to dramas where they tend to lose the point the more money they get, and it tends to boil down to a Riverdale problem before you know it. Before you know it. And I'm glad that they were able to honestly wrap up this character of Joe so specifically and so in an enticing way that made you feel like you wanted more, but you were glad that it ended. But to get into it. These are some of my takes. I think Joe Goldberg hated women, but he hated women in a way that people forget is a possibility, right? I feel like the way that he loved women kind of showed the misogyny before you could really get to know him, because of I even rewatched season 1 so I can get a better foundation for who the character of Beck was. And when the show starts, he pulls up and has this I personally believe his what's it called? His inner dialogue is not so much corny, but it's oh brother. that's a lot that's usually the main thing that I take away from it. But he starts off the show analyzing Beck in a way as if everything that she is doing is primarily for him and only him, right? It's another. And here's the gag. It's not even for another man or even for her. It's for him, this stranger. And he's saying, oh yeah, no. All this thing that you're doing, the way you did your hair, the way that you showed off your bracelets, the way that you side-eye looked at me, the way that you even gave me your card. The way you gave me your card so you knew my name. So you wanted me to know your name. That's what he took from the scenario when they first met. That is insane. And you know what? Oh, this is another thing. I can't believe that people were rooting for him. And I was watching a lot of the interviews of the directors and things of that nature when it came to the show. People are actively rooting for him. Why? How? How? I feel like there were so many different points where they're okay, you're not even so much a hopeless romantic. You're just a bad guy. You're honestly just a bad not willing to grow guy. Honestly, So I started sitting back and I was thinking to myself, I was like, how does this happen? Because I'm going through Reddit and I'm just looking up different things, and one of the subreddits that I kept finding was, I like the way that it ended it, because of it emphasizes the fact that Joe Goldberg is not special. He is not unique. He is just a random guy that's, what is the last person? Just a random guy that this Bronte Luis character will just happen to date, right? There's a lot of men that are like that. And then I'm sitting back and I'm like, of course there are. Like that's like, yeah, of course there are men that actively believe that women's whole existence is actually surrounded around him and his protecting thing. Because the way that he shows love, he kept saying throughout the whole show, is the fact that he loved these women. He was setting himself up to be the guy that saved them when he wasn't able to save his mother back in season, I think, like 2 or 3. But I'm looking back and I'm thinking, nah, I don't think so. nah. I think he was just loving the feeling of ending another person's life and the fact that he was able to do it. And he was basically to me, it felt like he was just killing the guy that he wished he killed when he was a child. Oh no, he did end up killing that person as a child. But he's just living in that moment over and over and over because of the way that his mother looked at him when he was able to murder that guy, and he got sent to the side, and he was seen as a man that isn't worth loving. He's a guy that being able to love him is a flaw amongst yourself. So I feel like there's this deep dichotomy of trying to protect these women and also knowing the fact that these women can even love me in the first place shows that they don't know what they don't know what they want to. They must be this bad person that needs me to keep killing so that I am able to protect. So I'm able to protect everybody from me, from you. It's weird. It's weird. When you try and look inside the mindset of his character, it gets very convoluted. And I love the way that they were able to show different parts of Joe through the women that he was dating, right? Because you get Beck, where it was more so like an accident, where he was young and naive about love, and he was just trying to save everybody from the love, or trying to save her from the world of cruel men. That she is young, she's naive, she's in college, she just doesn't know what the real world is like. So I'm gonna protect her from that. And then you switch it over to love. You switch it over to love, where he gets. I know there's someone in between love and Beck, but we don't think about her right now. That's not. Wasn't like, I don't even remember her name, but where you have Joe looking at he's looking at his own form of love because of when you see the character of Love Quinn. You literally see what it's like for Joe to just be acting as crazy as he is, right? But he's like, nah. You're crazy. That's insane. You can't do that. That's my role. That's my whole thing. And there's a thing in season 3, he was up her butt. Like, he was constantly like demeaning her on her own ways of killing, how it's sloppy and things of that nature. But I'm like, nah, you're sloppy too. Nah, you're sloppy too. You're literally just getting lucky. That's one of the in season 5. I know I am jumping all over the place, but welcome to the Dojo Podcast. Make sure you leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. All that and 9. All that, all, and 9 more. Something like that. I'll figure out a catchphrase. In season 5, there's an episode where he's trying to run down his current wife's sister because she is trying to expose the sister and him unless his wife gives up the company and making this other sister the CEO. Bro. He breaks into her house. She turns around, kicks him in the nuts, hits him, pushes him inside the water, whooping his ass. He's putting them hands, them paws on him, right? And I was thinking about this the whole series. Joe doesn't have hands. He just has a lust. He just has the human, the what do they be called? Saying it as she just has the human wheel of tasting blood. That's all. The imbobable human spirit. That's all he has. That's his whole gig. That's his whole superpower. So I'm like, yeah, finally get a woman that wants to whoop the fuck out of him, because he's not like that. He's sweet. He's super sweet. And literally the only way that she gets caught is because of she's running. I think she she slips and like falls down a hill or something like that. No. The only reason why Reagan loses, he just like hawks her down and hits her over the side of the head with the bowling pin, I think, something like that. And I'm like, that is such, whatever. You can have it, right? So back on Love Quit. You see how absolutely crazy Joe is. The longer season 3 goes on with Love Quinn looking at him through this literal mirror of what he is doing, right? And he's like, nah, that's not me. I gotta go. So he literally goes and burns down the home with his wife in it after he kills her, puts Henry into the foster system, disappears to London. He goes to London for a bit, and he goes and starts a whole life as a why is my British and my Nigerian accent jumping in together? But that's not the point. They go and live a whole life. He goes and lives his new life in London, right? Where he's a teacher. He's just chilling. He's not really so much dating. He's just living the nightlife. He's not doing something new crazy. And literally he goes and has a mental breakdown. His mind goes and splits amongst itself, right? It goes and splits. And he goes around London murdering really rich oligarchs, right? Really rich guys. He kills a politician. He kills I think he kills his wife's cousin. I don't remember that season that much, but it was very dark. It was very dreary, right? And the only way that he's able to actually get out of that scenario, he goes and finds this CEO, and they fall in love. This billionaire goes and wipes off his whole record, gives him back his life, goes and gets his child back, and they go back to New York City, where he has the perfect life. And he's like, yeah, I mean, I guess I could just live this life and just be rich and like, famous to my billionaire wife, and I guess I could do that. And then it's not enough. It's just not enough. And do you know why? It's not enough? Because I don't think he ever really respected what is her name? Kate Lockwood. I don't think he ever loved or cared about Kate Lockwood in the slightest. More so like a means to an end, and then ratchet that up by like 100, right? That's the type of vibe I was getting off of him. And then you fast forward a little bit to what fucking Bronte. So Bronte was what's her name? Was Guinevere's Beck's student back when she was in college, and she was back home. She was back home in, I think, Iowa. That's where they put her in. And when Gweck died, it kind of made her very, very suspicious. Not so much suspicious. Well, she wasn't suspicious yet, but it made her very sad. And then she was holding on to the memory and the image of Guinevere Beck through her book. And she was reading the book, and she was like, this doesn't sound right. This doesn't sound right. And do you know what tips her off? There's some writing in there where it seemed like she saw it as like, nah, this is way too misogynistic for her work. It cannot. She was like, this cannot at all. It can't be her. And you know what happens? She goes through the internet trying to figure out what's going on. And then she randomly goes upon this Reddit forum where they're talking about this Joe guy isn't, he's not as what we think. He's not the world as we think. And there's this overarching theme of trying to make sure these victims get their say and their voice, and trying to have them rewrite their own stories and actually get the justice that they deserve of this maniac Joe Goldberg that's been going around and just murdering people, right? This maniac Joe Goldberg that's just been going around and just like murdering people, right? And the way that they're able to tie everything together, it's not that I don't think it works. It's more so the message that they were giving. I just think people don't like Bronte. I think they just find her insufferable. But I think that's like part of her character. From the starts, it was seen that she was a pretty insufferable character, and the fact that people don't. Let me stop talking about it. Let me talk about what I think. This is what I think is important. The fact that she was the one that was able to put Joe down, kind of made me feel a sense of vindication, because of it always felt like something dumb would be the reason why he slips up, right? And I think the thing that made him slip up with her is primarily through the fact that he thought that she would want to go along with it. But I think that's more so on his end, being like, well, I'm going to find love if you like it or not. So it's either you go along with this love that I'm giving you, or you'll actually just die. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm tired of it. Because he's gotten to the point where he has seen all these different people. His past has came back to haunt him multiple times. The people he thought he murdered with his are back telling him that he's the bad guy. The lady that he went and put inside literal prison is back telling him that he's the bad guy. And he's trying to emotionally ratify to see if it can't be him. It has to be all these other women that are just objectively wrong, that they don't know what they want. They are the idiots. And it kind of reminded me of when it kind of put me back inside the mindset of when they had the one guy that was trying to hunt down Bronte. They had him in the back. They had him inside the cage, right? And his whole thing was, I'm trying to make women like you understand that they can't keep putting men in this scenario and this situation, and basically just being the classic incel, just the objective incel, where it's like, oh, it's all women's fault, all this stuff. They deserve to be harmed because of the things that they are doing. Which in logic that doesn't really that doesn't really make the best of sense, but. It always hurts me that that's the type of misogyny that people are able to view and digest, but they're not able to see the type of stuff that Joe Goldberg is doing, right? Because you saw Bronte as she was actively falling in love with this character of Joe. She was hoping that it was all a lie, even though she literally had all the evidence. They had all the evidence showing that it was going to be Joe is at least doing something insane, right? But all of that just turned off because of he was one charming, he was one attractive, and honestly, I think it's because he's white. I think this is all happening. That was all the leeway, at least. It's just white man privilege. That's the only thing I was taking away while I was watching this show. From being let out of jail to the vast majority seeing him as a Prince Charming, even though he was literally just a white knight. He was literally just a white knight. And have y'all ever seen the harassment and what is it? flirting and harassment, where it's just a slight change on who is actually delivering the message. And I feel like that is one of those things that are able to go and cloud the visions of everyone else around who this Joe Goldberg person is. Because he even said it when he was going up against Bronte. He was like, all the people I've murdered, all the time I've been in front of the courts, nothing ever happened. But you think that you're going to be the one that's able to make all this change. And it literally needed to come to that for her to be like, okay, no, you're genuinely crazy. Not when he trapped a guy in the basement. Not when he went and looked at you as he was looking at you for the okay to murder this man. Like that's insane. That's insane. So let's real quick. Wow, we're running a little bit late. But I love the way that they were literally able to not murder him, because I was like, there's no way he gets sent off in death, because if he dies, it better not be from a Bronte bullet. That's insane. That is insane. There are so many other women that deserve to put two in his, to be able to put two in his side piece, because there's a lot missing. There's a lot missing over there. So the fact that it's like, no, we're gonna put you in prison for life, and two, we're gonna take your manhood. That's for her. That's more so for her than anybody else. That was a perfect way to end it. And before I end this pod, we're running late.